All right, welcome back, everybody. One of the things we're going to be looking at today, and I apologize if there's any noise in the background, I got a couple fans running, because even though it is New Year's Day, it is slightly warm in the state of Texas today, as was Christmas. So I'm going to be working on a couple of things today. We're going to fill up the rest of this little green box that I have over here to my side. We're going to fill that up with some Mk248 300 Winchester Magnum. Now, if you've ever watched Johnny's reloading bench, the Mk248 300 Winchester Magnum is actually a modified 300 Win Mag that is not designed to run at the exact same velocity, weight, or length as a regular 300 Win Mag. Regular 300 Win Mag will usually get you in the 2750 feet per second, 2775 feet per second in the 220 grain range. And it's also going to compress your powder a lot more. I'm wiping these by the way, because I've just resized them. Now the Mk248 is a little different because it's designed in modern sniper cartridge or modern sniper rifles, chassis guns that the U.S. Army and Navy were using. So famously, Chris Kyle, Navy SEAL sniper of the movie fame, had been using one of these rounds and rifles for a big part of his career, as well as the 338 Lapua Magnum, and as well as the 50 cal as part of his gig. But one of the things that made this really good is that it was lightweight, and it's since been replaced by 300 normal mag and the 300 PRC. But since I have the gun that shoots 300 Win Mag match, which is what is required for the Mk248 round, I'm going to go ahead and load them up because it performs similarly to the 300 PRC, which is why we have it. So this is a dummy round that I've got loaded up. This dummy round is approximately 3.34 inches. I just screwed around with the dies until it was right about close. So use it just as a visual only. It's a dud round with no powder in it. This is a standard 300 Win Mag with a 168 grain bullet in it. Okay, I'll put it next to a couple of other rounds here. Here's a 308 at 2.80 inches. So there's 308 and 300 Winchester Magnum. The Mk248 300 Winchester Magnum has a longer throat in it, and it has generally a 1.9, 1.8.5, or 1.10 twist rate. And there is a Mk248. It's a little bit longer. I'm running these at right under 3.45 inches. So if you want to see just the tiniest bit closer, we are running a little bit longer bullet. So the ogive digs in a little bit deeper, a little bit more room for powder. Now, as this round might get the 220 grain sailing out at, like I said, 2750 feet per second, this would get a 220 grain round moving at 2850 feet per second. So it's got quite a bit more juice, quite a lot longer bullet, and has been known to be accurate. Now, this is the Mk248 Mod 1. The Mod 0 is the one that shoots a 190 grain, so this shoots the 220. This round is accurate, or at least the most accurate, because of its ability to deflect windage because of the extra long bullet. So we'll go a little bit into that as we go through some factors about this round. But at 1,500 yards, this is by far more accurate than the 190 grain. Now, am I shooting that far? Not really. But I have the gun, and I want to shoot it to its max potential. So this is my Mk248 Mod 1 story. And so let's go and just kind of talk a little bit about rifles and special rounds. All right, so now one of the things that we're going to be looking at doing is looking at all this resized brass and trying it out in my rifle. This is a Savage. Since we have all of this brass that's been resized, this is all Hornady once fired, or maybe a couple times fired brass. we're going to have to try them in the rifle. The rifle is the most important thing. This rifle has a custom barrel. This barrel is one by Criterion. It's 26 inches, stainless steel, 1 in 10 twist, 300 Win Mag match. So if you have one built by Criterion, you're going to actually have to ask them to make sure that they differentiate between a 300 Win Mag and 300 Win Mag match. The 300 Win Mag match, as I had said, is more like a 300 PRC, except it still has rimmed case. So what we're going to do here is just load a few up in here, slap them in, no struggle, pop them out. If I have any that don't feed or load up correctly, I'm going to probably try to resize them again. This one has a little bit more stick on it, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in a over here batch. That one, same thing. Also just make sure that I wipe this to make sure that there's no problems, and try that one again. Easy. I think I lost track of the one that didn't load up the correctly, but let's just move on here. Slightly sticky, but nothing I'm worried about. I'm going to do maybe 10 or 15 of these just for the camera. So that one goes over here. No real issues with this one. Maybe you can also see one of the issues that you see with these Savage actions is that they don't necessarily, oh, that's a really good one there, that they really just don't eject very big. They give you about maybe a 6-inch eject, and that's about all you get. You also want to do this when your brass has been wiped down after reloading. You don't want to get any of that resizing lube into your rifle. So I have a few of these over here. One of the things I think I'm going to do if I have ones that are just a little bit sticky is throw them back into the group to be processed, and then maybe process them again. I'm not really worried about that. One of the things that you want to do is just make sure that whatever you have loaded in your brass holder, like this thing over here, it's just going to be as consistent as possible. And there's nothing really in here that's out of spec, just something that has a slightly stickier bolt going in, which again, for precision shooting, is not the most important. If I was shooting at a mile, that would be different. I'm also using Hornady brass. Oh, that one's real sticky. Yeah, that one's going to go over here. But you see why we're doing that is so I can pull out some ones that aren't as good. That one was real sticky too. Let's make sure that I'm also keeping the bolt here as slick as possible. I don't want to get any buildup. Oh, you see what that was? So me wiping that bolt a little bit changed that from being sticky. So make sure that you're watching that. So I'm not going to go through this whole process, but I was just talking through it a little bit. But now that I've wiped it, go ahead and wipe the back of the case off just to see. Oh no! What do you know? These are. Oh, that one's still sticky. Okay. So, but this process is just to make sure that we know for a fact what's going to run good. See, so now I really only just have one that's still kind of out of spec with the headspace, but we found it, and that wouldn't have changed much of anything, to be honest. But this is only a 3-minute process. So what I'm going to do is just take this, throw this back in this bag that says to be processed. I'll run it through the sizing die again, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Okay, so that's the process as we have right now. Next, I'm going to kind of walk you through. Here is our rifle. Now, this is based on a Savage action. This action here is a Savage Long Range Hunter, so it is your 110 action. Obviously, this gun has virtually nothing stock except for the bolt and the action itself. This is all just kind of a Franken gun, but I love it. I enjoy it. I traded some stuff for it and kept playing with it. So one of the things that I've done is modified this barrel with the clamp-on muzzle brake, soon to be thread-on. This is made by Kahntrol, Jeremy Kahn, K-A-H-N. Fabulous guy to work with. Excellent customer service. I highly recommend it. I would have anything from him. He's also the guy that made a brake for my 308 rifle. Those brakes are about $150. Well worth it, though, because it can be easily removed. Some states actually have regulations saying that you may not be able to use a muzzle device. So that's handy for those states as well as competitions, because the muzzle has not been affected, actually, in any way. It's been clamped on. So got a cheapy Caldwell 9x13 swivel. And on the other side that has the quick adjust. They've been good to me. I haven't had any major issues, although I am starting to use an Amazon brand now a lot more. I would eventually go to the higher end bipods, but it's just not something that's desperately needed right now. This stock is a Hogue Overmolded stock that has a mini chassis inside, and has been inletted very poorly for this bottom metal here that allows the use of 3.5 inch AICS 5-round magazines. I put this cheap Amazon round holder on there just because I had it extra, and it kind of looks cool. I'm not sure if I'll ever use it, or I might just take it off, but because this might be technically a competition gun, I have lightly thought about changing, or not changing, but leaving those on there. So I went ahead and I purchased one of these. This is the Savage tactical bolt. This is a stock bolt, but it's been polished a little bit with just some super high grit sandpaper just to make it kind of shiny, and it actually does help it run a little better. This is the Amazon $40 Kydex cheek riser, and I've had it modified because I put it wrong and it didn't clear the bolt, and I wanted to not have to drill those holes again. So I know that this is kind of an oddity, but it's one of those things where I made my mistake and I found a way to work with it, and don't do what I did, and you will be happier in your life. That also being said, it's just one of those things where it's my gun. It was a little unbalanced because this barrel right here is extremely heavy. This is a Varmint Profile barrel, and so what I actually did was take this hollow stock that I have here and fill it up with 2 lunch baggies full of lead 35 caliber 200 grain bullets. I accidentally ordered like 500 of them one time, and so I put 40 or 50 in here, and now the gun actually has an almost perfect weight balance with my hand right there. So I'm pretty happy that worked out so well, and they haven't moved or shaken or anything. I kind of crammed them in there with some work, but the rear weight is now really awesome, and so the gun is easier to carry. I don't like carrying it. This gun actually weighs close to 16 pounds with 5 rounds in the magazine. So that is a lot of pounds. But for a heavyweight, kind of a potentially 1,500 yard gun, it is what I consider to be adequate weight. Up here, we've got the Vortex Strike Eagle 5x25x56. Vortex, these are the precision matched rings. They came with the trade that I got. I don't know if I would spend however much it costs to get the precision matched ring set. There are a lot of companies that have rings that are just as adequate for maybe a little bit less money. That being said, they are extremely good, and I've never ever had a problem with them. So if you want to have something that you don't have to mess around with, that's what you should consider. I usually keep a bikini cover on there. I'm not going to buy flip up for this unless I actually go and carry it into the field somewhere. This is a Night Force 20 MOA rail. Let's see here. I normally use the EGW rails, but this action had that with it. I have put some glass bedding in here where the action lug is, and then a little bit around here. They say you're not supposed to do that in these mixed media rifle stocks. I know a lot of gunsmiths that still put bedding in everything that they make, so I do. And it's one of those things where it actually did improve the accuracy. This stock is very hodgepodged, and it's very Hogue-podged. Amazon level. Level is really important. Here's a trick I have for my levels that if anybody ever wants to know, instead of actually running it between the two lines, I actually set my level to where the bubble is touching the left-hand line. That's when I have my level set exactly dead nuts. So that's something for you to consider. You can have it running to where it's like that or whatever, but I literally have it set to where the edge of the bubble touches that, if you want to have the most precise level possible. One of the things that you can do with these Savages is get an upgraded ejector, an extractor kit. What that does is it makes the rounds a little bit harder to feed. With the length that I'm running in this, I don't actually want to do that, so the ejection won't be very good, but here is the action there. Basically with these Savage actions, you don't get that sweet Mauser style quick action. It's a two-part action, which you put your, here's your trigger finger, pop, and there's a two-part action. You go flip up, throw back, and down. So that's what you do with that, and our chamber's empty now. I only keep snap caps in there. I never actually practice with anything because I just don't want to get into the habit of actually playing around with cases and the gun. Just as a matter of safety, I have a baby in the house. We're going to make sure that we are being safe, even when I'm playing in the garage. So, but that's our rifle, okay? So, if you have any questions about it, I'd love to answer them. This rifle is not my pride and joy, but I certainly enjoy it. This is the actual accuracy magazine. The only reason I keep this on here is because it sounds cool when I load and eject rounds. Otherwise, I use PMags because they're quieter and they feed better. So, but yeah, thanks.